And we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to 305 Takes. Miles and I are here for you guys for the next hour to give you a recap of the wild week 3 in the NFL. Today's episode is sponsored by E2G Sports Network. You could check them out at e2gsports.com for a variety of sports news from the NBA, MLB, NFL, and much more. But right now, let's get right into football talk because we got a lot of things to talk about from this wild weekend. And first thing we're going to be talking about is the Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. And fun fact for anyone out there, yes, this is our fantasy show on Monday, but a lot of guys in our fantasy league were at this game. Myles was at this game, Dom was at this game, Moises was at this game. So we have three people from 10 Angry Men at this game. And let's just say,
What a game to be at. What a game to be
what a
at.
game to be at. But Miles, before you go, I just want to say this. I want to give so much credit to all the players out there because I don't know how many of them at the end of the day ended up with leg cramps. Because, bro, I could tell from just watching my home, the sun was just not their friend any day on both the Dolphins and the Bills side.
Yeah, the only thing that really saved the Dolphins is that they have the shade on that side. But even like playing on the field, if you had to run to the right side of the field towards the
Oh my
Dolphins
God.
sideline, towards the Bills sideline, there was absolutely punishing heat. My entire section at halftime cleared it out to get out of the sun. And third quarter started, and like not even close to half of the section and come back. They were just waiting under the tunnel to get out of that sun because from the second quarter on the first quarter, pretty much like the sun was like a little bit lower than to be let into the stadium, and then from the second quarter on, it was absolutely blazing. I'm honestly surprised I didn't get just absolutely cruised by the sun and burned. But what a game to be at! Honestly, first off, shout out to the Bills for having such a loyal fan base. And you see the stories of them, jumping off tables and at their tailgates in Buffalo, but they came down to Miami full force. They were out here. The stadium, I mean, I would say 50-50, but honestly, it might be even 60-40 Bills. Like they
Yeah.
were definitely represented in that place, and everybody was super cool and respectful. But what a game we got to witness! The Miami Dolphins are 3-0, joining the Philadelphia Eagles as the only 3-0 teams in
Well,
the
we don't
NFL
know
right now.
yet. The Giants might be 3
Well, the
0 by the
Giants are
end of
2-0
tonight.
right now. So we got 2-3-0, and we got one team pending a result on Monday night. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, it was just an amazing game. I can't believe that the Bills ran so many plays and only scored 19 points, and really
Bro,
defense only
that
17.
offense was on the field for 40 minutes. Like, that's what's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. The Dolphins defense was on the field for 40 minutes, and they held the Bills to two different red zone trips without any points. So it was, and that's back to back weeks that the Dolphins have been able to shut out a team right near the goal line in key situations. And you do that against Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen in back to back weeks. So and another strip sack that puts the offense in perfect position. I know the
Position
first one was
score.
week one
Yep.
where it was a swoop and score, but Melvin Ingram jumps on it again, gets the ball at the 6 yard line. So it was honestly a perfect game. Wish could have seen a little bit more out of the offense, but they just didn't run enough plays. The Bills just had the ball for an extraordinary amount of time.
Yeah. Every drive was so long. Like, it generally felt like a year that they had the football, where I was like, man, because I think the Bills' game plan going into the game was since they know the speed of Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill was so dangerous, and their
And they
secondary
were
was
banged up.
basically
Yeah.
all backups. So they were like, all right, offense, stay on the field as long as you possibly can. And the less time they're on the field, the better our chances are of making a stop, which I get. But I think it hurt the Bills because, man, so many guys were going in and out due to cramps. So,
And their offensive line, three of the five game like not coming back, able to
yep,
return to the game, were offensive linemen. So for the last 22 offensive snaps, there was no substitutes available for any of the offensive linemen for the Bills. So
yep,
that's what they were running out with, and that's on top of the heat that we already mentioned. So
yeah,
they had to play pretty much damn near perfect on
yeah.
offense.
So credit to them. They played very well. I was like, hey, yeah, I mean,
I
the
mean, they're just
only,
really good at football.
yeah,
And Josh Allen, like seeing it in
mhm,
person, like he is impossible to tackle. Impossible. Like there's D linemen that come right across his face, two hands on him, one up by the shoulder pad. Like it's like, how
yep,
do you just not fall down like out of momentum? Nope, the guy
exactly.
keeps going.
Yeah, so a lot of credit to them. I would say for this game, if I had to give one team the one side of the football, the game ball, I would give it to the Dolphins defense. Like
Yeah,
what
Dolphins
you
defense.
mentioned, I felt
Defensive line gets 20 pressures,
Yep,
10 quarterback hits, 4 sacks of Josh Allen, 29% pressure rate after just 16 through the first 2 weeks. They really stepped it up.
yep. I would give them the game ball because one, you were out there for 40 minutes, and it felt like almost the entirety of the game. And you held Josh Allen to, like you said, there was two unsuccessful red zone trips, and one of them was so big it came with 5 minutes left in the fourth,
Mhm.
and where the fourth and goal, he underthrew McKenzie or Gabe Davis right near the back of the end zone. It
Yeah.
missed him, like plain simple. So I give them like so much credit on that play and that series. The only problem I had with the whole game in terms of the Dolphin side, I had a problem with Mike McDaniels choosing to pass in the end zone on 3rd and 11. I really had a problem with that. Mainly just because of clock management. I was like, if you run it just a quarterback sneak, I understand you're afraid of Tua getting hurt, but once it
But they
goes,
had just done that on
yeah,
second and goal and didn't
or
get
you run
anything.
something with your fullback,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
what I
saying,
was thinking. I was
get the
thinking maybe
clock
just get a
running.
wildcat with the fullback, but the only thing is, I mean, do I really want to take the ball out of my quarterback's hands to give it to a fullback that doesn't really take snaps, you know?
No,
So
I get that, but then once that happened, the ball was tipped in the air, and I was like, I said once the play was over, the Dolphins have to be thanking the Lord because that could have been intercepted. It was
well,
that
I mean,
close.
it was worst case scenario. The next play was the butt punt. So
Yeah,
it was
and
just terrible execution. And this was a thing earlier in the game, earlier in this game, and it was a thing in Baltimore. They've been having trouble with either fourth and short or really close to the goal line. They've been having
mhm,
trouble punching it in and getting really the right execution down because the first play of that series, it looked like they were going to be stopped for a safety. They barely got out. The next play, just to try to get some breathing room, they ran a quarterback sneak. And I was thinking back to our boy Joe Judge, who ran that
oh,
quarterback sneak last year. How many times a quarterback sneak happens on just like 2nd and 10? Like that
oh,
cannot happen very often in an NFL game. But at this time they just were trying to get some breathing room and keep the clock running as much as possible. But I can't believe, I can't believe. I think this is a game where the Dolphins should feel happy for winning, but know that whew, that was by the skin of our
yeah,
teeth.
the
And if
skin
I'm a
of their
Bills
teeth.
fan or player, supporter, whatever the case may be, I'm not too upset about losing it. I think one, they had many opportunities. If you look back at it, that end of the first half where Josh Allen fumbles the snap, can't spike it, they run a
Mhm,
play, the clock runs out, they don't get to put an opportunity to put points on the board. Bass misses a field goal earlier in the game, and all of those that's either winning or you're up by 6. But
yeah,
if you add those 2 points, so this is like the classic football game where it's like the Dolphins did just enough to win, and the
and the
Bills, despite
Bills
getting
also,
400 yards, despite Josh Allen throwing for 400 yards, did just enough to lose. Like just the
yeah,
little things, and that's what makes football so crazy. But seeing that last play and the time run off, oh my goodness, it was a crazy, crazy moment. Me and like 3 random people, we just started jumping up and down together. It was a great game. And I honestly, if the Dolphins are going to continue to play like this and look like this, I would look forward to this matchup in the AFC East for the next 10 years. It was a lot of fun to watch and just the atmosphere of the game. And that's a good rivalry. And
yeah. No, it could
yes,
be one of the better rivalries in all of football. The only thing I'm just gonna be looking at is like I feel like next time they play, well, it'll be in Buffalo.
yeah.
So I would tell the
Well, and it's tough
Dolphins
to
you
beat
have to.
Buffalo in Buffalo, anyways, regardless of which team you are. But and added motivation that the Dolphins already have a victory, so they're
Yeah,
going to want to pay that back.
yeah. I would say the Dolphins. I would flip the script on the game plan. If you go to Buffalo, try to have your offense on the field as long as possible. That would just be my headspace going into it. If you could flip the script in terms of offense, because like you said, they're gonna want to get payback for the win. Because if any fan who looks at it, they go, obviously the Bills are the better team. They just mis executed on a lot
I
of
don't know
situations.
if it's obviously they're the better team.
Well, to me, if you're on the field for 40 minutes compared to their team's 20 minutes, there is a telltale sign.
Of what? That there was a lot of plays run?
Well, also
and that we scored faster.
the Bills' defense was able to get some unnecessary stops. I'm not going to say all of them because I'm only saying some because one, their defense was put in a bad situation after Josh Allen fumbled that, basically like at the 5 or 10 yard line. So that one I automatically expected the Dolphins to score a touchdown because I was like,
Yeah,
all
but they
right,
got stopped in the red zone twice, and their first touchdown was on 4th and goal in the red zone.
goal.
So I
So
don't
I'm
know
like,
if they were obviously the better team or I
well, I
mean,
mean,
it's
look at all the
pretty
injuries they
even,
had.
I would say. And their defensive line, the strength of their unit. Von Miller was very quiet going up against a backup tackle.
Gregory Rousseau looked very good.
Yeah, Rousseau looked good, but they had Von Miller going up against Greg Little, who ended up going out too, and we had to move Hunt over to tackle.
Yep.
And this is with our quarterback getting injured.
That's no
Because
that
Tua,
injury.
for as much as I hate on Tua, that was gutsy right there. For him to stumble like that and come back into the game.
I genuinely thought he was out for the remainder of the game once I saw him like wobble.
Well, we had no idea in the stands. All I saw was 5 at quarterback, and I'm like, what? And then he looked absolutely terrible. Those 3 plays with Teddy Bridgewater were absolutely
bad,
so.
And now the NFL is going to investigate how the Dolphins went by that, which I understand because you want the player safety should be like the top priority, where they should say, hey, we understand you want to go out there and win, but your safety is the priority.
Well, it's hard line. Once you have a concussion, you can't come back in. But Tua keeps saying that it wasn't a concussion; it was his back.
It was back. So we'll see what happens.
Which you can see happening if your back actually locks up. Like it is incredibly painful, and you're like you can stumble down to alleviate the pain.
Yeah. So we'll see what the NFL comes out with the investigations, but overall it was a good game. I thought it was the game of the week, considering how all the other games went.
Yeah, but it just didn't go the way Vegas thought. 54.5 point over under.
Yep.
And that did not come anywhere close to hitting.
Not even close. But I think we got to transition to some of the surprises of the weekend. And I'm going to be honest on this one. My biggest surprise, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I was trying to tell you before the season. AFC South champions.
Oh, well, I always doubted them because the last time I saw Doug Peterson on a football field, he quit. He can't tell me otherwise.
He had what, a guy from Northwestern at quarterback?
He also had Jalen Hurts. He also benched Jalen Hurts. So that was like, bro.
Yeah, to put the guy at Northwestern in our quarterback.
So I would say that that's it is what it is with my beef with.
Yeah, but you could also say the last time you saw Trevor Lawrence with an actual real life coach, he was the best quarterback prospect we saw.
Yeah.
And then he had a season with Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Oh man, but
I mean they're getting production everywhere. Their offense looks good. Their defense, they have two good defensive pass rushers.
They could be better, but they are getting better.
I like them. I think they have a solid squad. They're getting production out of both the running backs. Kirk, we mentioned last week, has been solid for them. They have, I think, just a solid pass catching group. I like Marvin Jones. I know he's not the youngest, but I think they're pretty solid. Josh Allen on the other end, the defensive lineman, Josh Allen is good. I like their rookie linebacker Devin Lloyd out of Utah, and everybody was bashing on them for taking Walker over Hutchinson.
Walker's looked good,
and Walker's look good. So I think they have a really solid foundation. I saw a funny TikTok of a guy at the Chargers game, and Trent Baalke, the Jaguars GM, was out there watching the team warm up before the game, and they start screaming, Trent, I'm sorry for criticizing him about all the roster moves and taking Walker over Hutchinson. But it's looked like it's paid off through a couple of weeks, and their division is bad enough where they could simply just be the best team.
Yeah. And Trevor Lawrence has looked a lot better compared to what he was last year. But it's like you said, I feel like Trevor was in a very bad situation last year where it was kind of impossible for him to win. But he looks good. He's been making some solid throws. His decision-making is a lot better than what it was last year.
I believe it's 2 consecutive games with over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions for him. So I would say I haven't seen all of his games, but I would say this is the best one he's had as a pro.
Hands down. I think it's his best game.
And it simply seems like, so they get James Robinson 100 yards and a touchdown on 17 attempts, and then added 16 receiving yards and 3 receptions. It was his 6th 100-yard game, and the first time he got to that since week 5 of last year. And I really, and yeah, for Herbert, they go 28. For Lawrence, he goes 28 of 39 for 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and a 115.5 passer rating. And that's going against Justin Herbert, which, is a contemporary for him and a guy that's older. And I'm sure he wants to show, like, hey, I'm here. Like, I know I didn't perform like as well as you did as a rookie, but that doesn't mean we can't, be competitors the entire time.
Yeah. Overall, I think I like the team that they have. I mean, especially offensively. Offensively, I feel like they have one of the better in terms of talent, just as like skills position wise. The only thing I questioned was Christian Kirk going into the season, just because I felt it was a terrible contract. But the way they're playing, it's working. They're giving him the ball. They're giving him opportunities to go out there and prove himself, and he's done it.
Yeah.
And Evan Ingram, he seems to be like a solid fit for them. At least he gives them another presence of stretching the field out more. And I think Arnold is their second tight end. I think it's
Yeah.
Arnold.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like he's played solid. And like how you mentioned, James Robinson, the ghost of him, he
Yeah.
was great as rookie campaign, sophomore campaign, didn't go playing. He also got hurt. And now he's
And then they draft a running back in the first round.
drafted running back in the first round.
And now they're both executing. They've both been good. They both have
Yep.
provided to be a weapon for Lawrence. And I do like the little squad that they have, and I like them more because they do play in the AFC South. So I think a playoff spot is more than obtainable for them, just based off of that. But yeah, and to flip to the other side, the team that they played, the LA Chargers, man, there's
Fantasy
something wrong.
wise, it
They're
is
cursed.
going down.
They're cursed.
Yeah.
They're literally cursed. Herbert gets hurt. He did not. I don't think they should have played him in that game. I mean, I saw he completed just 55% of his passes. That's the third lowest clip of his career and well below his average of 66%.
Yeah.
I
Bro.
don't think he should have played, honestly.
Yeah. Oh my God. Imagine the fantasy numbers that were just everyone was begging for the Chargers to hit.
Well, even Eckler didn't do anything either.
Yeah. Eckler didn't do anything. I think the only person who might have given some people something was Mike Williams, and that's about it.
And then they lose Slater. Bosa goes out with an injury. They've already been without Keenan Allen since week 1. And Herbert was banged up in the Thursday night game, had 10 days and still looked pretty banged up in this game. So it's starting to look a little weird for them. They started the game off with 2 turnovers in their first two possessions. And it's like, all right, we have Justin Herbert. So you know what we should do? In the first series of the game, we should throw a pass into the end zone to Sonny Michel, who was cut by the Miami Dolphins, just so we can watch it go through his hands and land into the other teams. I don't know. I don't know. And the coaching, I don't know. I don't know. Staley, he goes very hot and cold with me. I don't think he should have been as heavily criticized as he was going into this year, but he does. I don't think he makes a team better, and that's supposed to be his whole job.
Yeah. A head coach, you're supposed to elevate your team and not diminish them. But do you have any other surprises of the weekend outside the Jags?
As a team, not really. I didn't know that this was as a stat. I'll just throw this out to there for you guys real quick. Did you know that Sean McVay is 11-1 against the Arizona Cardinals since taking over the Rams in 2017?
Oh,
I had no idea that was a thing. I had no idea.
I wonder how many of them are against. Man, the coach you bet on him to be the first one, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, that guy. I think they've been outscored 90-3 in the first halves of these games so far. Yeah. And their only win comes against the Raiders, who are currently tied
for the worst record
in the NFL with the Houston Texans. So there is a lot of parity in the NFL these days. I saw a stat that I believe, 30 of 32 teams have at least one victory so far, and that's the first time. That is the second time since 2002, and only the 5th time since 1970 when the NFL and AFL merged that we have 30 of the 32 teams with at least one victory going into week number 4. And 10 games were decided by one score this week.
Yep.
That's crazy. And I was trying to point it out. Only the Browns basically, if you had the AFC North outside of the Steelers because they played the Browns, they covered the Eagles and the Rams. That's it. All the other favorites did not cover, did not come close, and it was a bad weekend for gambling, honestly, especially if you were banking on some favorites. I thought I couldn't understand how the Colts line kept moving down, but
They
they
won.
ended up winning the game straight out, and the Chiefs desperately need their kicker back. It seems like. I mean, that fake field goal, and then the guy missing the field goal later on.
I would just say for the Chiefs that it was just a bad game in general. It was just a bad game.
It was a bad game, and remember I was telling you before the season if we were going to bet on them, let's hope that they go through a little losing stretch just so we can get better numbers at them. So I'm not saying, but losing to an 0-2 Indianapolis team,
It
it was
does
on
help
the right.
your the favor in terms of betting going into next week. It does.
So I just want to get them at the AFC to win the AFC West at a better number. So and oh my goodness, how bad was that Sunday night football game?
Oh my people. Okay, so no, me and Miles, we do like to gamble and we do like fantasy. But I could tell you this: last night's game was probably like no bigger green light to me to say, do not trade for anyone on the Broncos. Do not trade
Yeah.
for anyone on 49ers in fantasy. And for
No, the
going up,
only one it gave me a little bit of a green light for was Debo because I feel like Shanahan knows how limited Garoppolo is, so he's going to start using
Debo a lot.
Debo
I
as
mean,
the
Kittle.
wide back again. But the only thing is, then Trent Williams went down in the game, and I'm like, as soon as Trent Williams went down, you knew the 49ers were not scoring another point.
Yeah.
Garoppolo there was no comfort in his
A man pulled an
pocket.
Orlowski.
Oh my god. Yeah, he literally pulled an Orlovsky. That was insane. And I don't even I don't know. I don't know.
That game was just bad in general. And to anyone, if you are going to trade or gamble on the 49ers or Broncos, I wish you the best of luck
Yeah.
because that's just a nightmare right now.
You
And
saw somebody tweeted out let Russ cook, and it was that
Oh,
TikTok that went viral of the guy cooking chicken with Michael.
I saw so many other ones that were just so bad. I saw the one who put like cereal and hot dogs together. I was like, bro, what is this? Like,
Dude, that one makes me die every time.
I'm like, oh my gosh, why do people keep showing me this? This is cursed images.
100. I think it was 184 yards for your $250 million quarterback.
Oh my god, that
Dude, Tua doesn't even do that.
yeah.
So I don't know what to make of Russell Wilson.
Honestly,
Russell Wilson looks like Justin Fields looks like right now because Justin Fields has trouble just like getting completions off. But
yeah,
he's
because he's
I
not
don't think he's gotten
protected.
to like 10 completions yet.
Well, I mean, we said it like he's just not protected, and
He's not protected, and there's no one for him to throw the ball to.
yeah, and I mean,
And Russ has Cortland Sutton and Jerry. Dude, Jerry Judy's going to end up fighting Russell Wilson because I don't understand why he doesn't use them. Their tight ends are non-existent. It's literally
he might just end up
and
asking for a trade.
I mean, that was not a fun game to sit through, even though that they won. I would still be pretty upset if I was on that offense.
I mean, if I'm Jared Judy, I would ask him like, can you please trade me to like Jacksonville or somewhere?
Come back to Florida. Everybody's gonna be asking for trades to the Dolphins after seeing McDaniel.
Oh well, I don't know. I don't know if he'll start over Waddle and
No shot.
Hill.
But everybody's gonna want to come play with this offense.
Who knows? Maybe if not Jared Judy, Jared Judy will start in Tampa and Jacksonville. He will start over there.
Tampa, yeah. Tampa, I mean, dude, Russell Gage was out there basically playing on one leg and was still the best target Brady had. He kept going back to him, and every time we catch the ball, he'd fall to the ground and need like 6 people to tear him off the ground. That game was bad too. But that was more because the defenses were good.
Yeah.
The Broncos just could not put together anything on offense. Like they had no game plan. They were just running it. It was Russell. I can't do the Russell Wilson anymore.
Russell, honestly, you're making me regret drafting Jared Judy in fantasy for me and Miles's E2G fantasy league. And Miles, I think we could do a quick brief moment on that. Guys, it's not looking good for us this week either. But remember, there's still a lot of weeks left in this. And moves can be made, and they will be. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
And we already have a victory under our belt, so it's not worst case scenario. We're not searching for that first elusive victory.
Yeah. So that is the one thing, because I mean, man, it just wasn't our week. That's all we can say.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And it was a tough week, even though we did get a little hometown comeback game for your boy Isaiah McKenzie, but still,
Hill
that's not
didn't.
enough to push us over the finish line.
Yeah, Hill didn't do us any favors. Roquan Davis, we didn't have another defensive tackle, so we kind of had to start him even though he was out. We did get a good game from Devondre Campbell, who had a very good game against the Bucks. Javon Holland had a very good game. Derwin James had a good game.
Our safeties are
Levante
nice.
David and Devin White had okay games.
Yeah, our
But
safeties are nice
yeah,
because
our
we don't
second,
get enough offensive production.
yeah, and
Because the
Hill, he was,
Ravens, it's because the Ravens quarterback group got stolen from us.
oh my gosh. And
Which is
Travis Etienne, I thought Travis Etienne would be scoring like 20 a week, but that's just James Robinson now. And there's just I don't know what to do. The Bills, James Cook actually
Cook
did get
is
a lot of opportunities in this
he
game.
got opportunities, but I
Yeah,
don't think it's happened for him rookie year.
yeah. Is a James Cook will be good, but going forward, he's going to get
Yeah,
more touches as the season goes on. So we are like banking on that. But we
yeah, he
have
might
that.
be a Javante Williams where he comes on later in the season. And
Yeah,
can they
and
stop using Melvin Ingram? Like, how many times does the guy need to put the ball on the ground for them to get it out of get the idea out of their head of using this guy? He fumbled twice yesterday. Like that, like it's enough. And I've seen him fumble like a million times watching football at the literal goal line.
yeah.
And you
Oh,
saw the stat that they gave out about the Broncos with 22. They've run 22 plays inside the 5 yard line and hadn't scored a point.
bro, it's bad. But
That's
let's get off of the bad talk of that bad football with the Broncos and our not so good luck with E2G, but we got to talk about our sponsor, E2G Sports. For anyone that doesn't know, this is our sponsor for the podcast. They are hosting 305 Takes on their YouTube channel, where you could not only find us, you could find other podcasts on their channel as well. First Information, Patriots Place, so on and so forth. And if you guys check out their network, e2gsports.com, you can find some more news out there. And if you guys want to also know that our show is live on YouTube Monday at 2:30 p.m., where we recap everything in the NFL and talk about fantasy, and on Friday live at 3 p.m. we do betting mainly. As the host of the show, me and Myles talk about bets we like, bets we don't like, guys that we think, hey, that might be a good side bet that you want to do in terms of, like, let's say if it's Isaiah McKenzie over or under 50 yards, we'll give you our opinion based on the matchup. And it's like, hey, if it's plus 200, take it. If it's minus this, take it. We're going to be doing that all throughout football season, where we'll be live Monday and Friday, Monday at 2:30 to 3:30, and then Friday from 3 to 4. So now let's get back to some football, because in our fantasy league, we had some stars of the week. So
yeah, definitely.
I
First star
you yeah, go ahead with your
first
star.
star I'm giving out is going back to the well, Lamar Jackson. Lamar
That's
Jackson.
right, my quarterback.
Yeah, he was absolutely dominant again. I believe it was Warren Moon as the only quarterback with 100 yards passing and 3+ touchdowns in a single game. And this is now over 100 yards rushing in back-to-back games for him. Um, if I was the Ravens, I would just every time I see him score a touchdown, I'd have to know the check it has to go up. Like the check
Yeah,
has to go up.
it has to.
So star of the week, Lamar playing in his contract year and absolutely balling out.
I have two guys tied for my star of the week. I have Marquise Hollywood Brown and Devontae Smith. Both of them
Devontae
were
Smith,
both of them were absolutely great. For anyone that doesn't know Marquise Brown, he had 14 catches for 140 yards, totaling
yeah,
28 points
14 points.
on fantasy. And then Devontae Smith, he had 30 points. It was
Yeah,
unbelievable game for him. I believe it was like 30,
that
yeah,
touchdown
30
catch,
points.
touchdown was
8 catches, 169 yards, and a touchdown, like you said, bro.
yeah, that
That's
touchdown was nice
awesome.
too. Yeah, that touchdown was nice, and he was he was just making nice catches all over the field, uh, in support of his former quarterback. That's now his current quarterback again. So shout out to Devontae Smith. I like that one. I want to see if they like continue to flip flop, or it'll be an AJ Brown week, then a Devontae week. But it's been back to back Devontaes. He was pretty good in the
AJ
Monday night.
also had a pretty good week this week.
Yeah, they're pretty. They have talent on that offense, and they made quick work of the Commanders there. Uh, I'm gonna go with a little. I'm gonna go back to the well. I'm gonna do two rookies here. First
Okay.
off, Chris Olave, 140 yards for him again for the Saints today or yesterday against the Carolina Panthers. And then the second one, it was 9 receptions for 147 yards against the Panthers. So shout out to the rookie after seeing his boy Garrett Wilson, former teammate at Ohio State, ball out last week for the Jets. He's like, you know what, I'll put up my own performance. Didn't get the touchdown like Wilson did, but still absolutely balled. And then the second one I'm going to give to is a rookie for the Green Bay Packers. We'll go with Romeo Dobbs. Catches his first touchdown in the game. He goes for it was a productive game. Goes for 8 passes caught, 73 yards, and the touchdown. But the thing that I'm intrigued by, especially moving forward as we're talking about fantasy, just going into that game, he entered the game with just 6 catches and 64 yards on the season. So he upped his season total in just a single game. So maybe moving forward, and especially because Watson was already out in that game, and Rodgers, still wants to build chemistry with these pass catching options, I think that might be a solid one. So start of the week for two rookies, Chris Olave and Romeo Dobbs.
My final start is going to go to someone that we didn't talk about in our first segment, Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary deserves a star to me because
The
he
leading
had
receiver for the Buffalo Bills.
leading receiver. So for anyone, you might hear these first stats and you might think, why are you giving this guy a star? 9 carries for 13 yards. That's not great. But he had 9 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown, giving him a total of 24 points. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people had him on the bench, knowing that, hey, he might not explode as much as we might want to, but he deserves a star. I think he was amazing in the game in terms as a pass catcher. And I would say he was my last star of the week in terms of fantasy.
Yeah. There's plenty of other guys we could have chose from, but those are the ones that really just kind of stood out, and guys that I want to keep in mind as we continue to go down this fantasy season.
Yep. And now I think we got to talk about some guys who just made us want to pull our hair out in terms of when we put them in our lineup and say, what is wrong with you? Bust of the week. Now I got a couple of guys that I'll just name. First one, Joe Mixon. I understand he got hurt, but 6.8 points. And then one guy who's on my team, Miles Sanders. It finally happened. He fell back down to earth.
I
Fell back
told
down
you.
to earth.
It always happens. He's so hot and cold, man. He's so hot and cold. He's so hot and cold. Uh, I have two from my person on. It's tough to call both these guys bust because I know might make me eat my words next week. But in my PPR league, Justin Jefferson with 4.4 points after giving me 10 last week. Come on, brother. We're gonna need you to step up those numbers. And then Tyreek Hill, just a
Five.
slow game for the Dolphins this week. Waddle still gave your boy a solid 15. Finished with 102 total yards, and so Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, but I mean, just really throughout, we could go quarterbacks this whole week for bust of the week. You got Stafford only getting 10 points. I believe it was Wilson only got 9 points. Brady didn't do much, which I mean, you can't really expect him to do much when he has no options at pass catching. But there was a lot of bust of the weeks this week.
Yeah, none of them really kind
Devontae
of.
back to back bust. Devontae back to back bust. I don't get what's going on there.
I mean, a lot of them were not great. I mean, even Kyler only had 13 points.
Yeah, most of the quarterbacks didn't really have that great of a week, and that probably contributed to why um, the unders were so successful in the games betting this week because the offenses just didn't have it.
Yep,
Yeah,
it
Russell
was.
finishes with 9 points. Jonathan Taylor with 12 points. Eckler, I think, had 9 points. It wasn't a good week for a lot of the top picks. Darren Waller again, basically the whole Raiders offense, if we're
Well,
being
except for
honest.
Matt Collins. Matt Collins went off.
Yeah, yeah. Matt Collins did go off. Yeah, former Dolphin, who's now a Raider, who caught the reception from Ryan Fitzpatrick against the Raiders.
His stats yesterday were 8 catches, 158 yards, 1 touchdown on 10
Yeah,
targets.
he was basically the only one that showed up for them.
Has he emerged as like the number two receiver for the Raiders outside of Hunter Renfro?
Yeah, well, Renfro was out for the game, so I don't know. They're really confusing to figure out because Jacobs was supposed to not play, then he ends up traveling on his own, plays and played pretty decently, especially fantasy wise. He had a productive day for a
Yeah,
guy that
it
looked
wasn't
like.
bad considering the circumstances.
But Devontae can't get going, Waller can't get going after they gave him the extension, and Jacobs was the one that seemed to be in the doghouse. It seemed like it was going to be, it just didn't seem like it was going to be his year this year, and then they just haven't been able to put it together. And now they're 0-3 with Josh McDaniels, who, we saw things go terribly wrong for him in Denver already. So there's got to be a lot of pressure building up on the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a crazy week of fantasy football so far, and I mean it's definitely nuts because now I mean no, we're only three weeks in, but still with the playoffs starting. I think in our league, I don't know what week it starts in your other league, but I know I didn't put the championship game for the last week of the season just because so many starters sit out. So I said no, I'll keep it at week 16 championship, so that way, legit all starters are gonna play.
Okay.
So
It's only 1 week?
oh no, I have it's 16 playoffs, six
Yeah,
teams.
but it's
So
only 1 week each. Because what we do is it's 2 weeks. The
yeah,
first round
no,
is 2 weeks.
first round, the second round, then championship.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it's first round is like week 14, week
Yeah,
15. Yeah, it's like that.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So you have a 1 week for each playoff round, and you'll be good. And so now, I mean, now trades are even viable because now I know that I'm like, man, I mean, I don't even know who I want to trade for now because I mean, I want to upgrade at running back because clearly Miles Sanders might have fell back down to earth for me, and then Dalvin Cook got hurt just when I thought he was gonna have a normal Dalvin Cook game.
Yeah, it was pretty productive even with the injury. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got
so
to see how he looks moving forward.
I mean, there's that, and then I don't know if I should sell Curtis Samuel considering he's had a lot of good games, back to back to back games. I mean, 19 points, 22 points. Then he comes back with another 13 points, which was very solid. The only thing he just didn't get the yards. He got all the
I would,
targets and the
I'd
receptions.
probably sell just because I don't want to have to rely on Carson Wentz getting him the ball.
Oh man, that was bad.
Yeah,
But
he was terrible.
who do you
That
think?
could have been the bust of the week.
Who do you have as like trade targets?
I do like Lawrence. I want to target Lawrence. I think they're starting to put it together, and I like the weapons he has. I mentioned Debo, but Debo I might have to wait a little bit to see what the status of Trent Williams is going to be because I think that really changes their offense. But I think Debo could be a really strong candidate because I haven't seen him get. He hasn't been putting up like monster stats like he was last year. So you might be able to get a fantasy owner of Debo that is getting cooling on him a little bit because he's not getting the production. Another possible buy low guy, I doubt that this will happen in many leagues, is Devontae Adams, just because I could see people being, just out on him and the Raiders. So maybe Devontae Adams. Um, I thought Mostert would be a good Dolphins ad, but the play this week would have been Chase Edmonds for the running back spot. So that'll be one to continue to monitor to see what ends up happening in that backfield. And there was somebody else that I can't remember at the moment. It was For next week, it was a defense. Oh, for next week, I was looking at adding the Packers defense, but I don't think they're available.
In our league, I think they are.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Packers because I think they play Cleveland, and I think they could get after Jacoby a little bit.
New England.
Oh, New England. Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's just a fate of Mac Jones in that offense because he looked terrible again yesterday, and their pass catching options are just non-existent.
I mean, another team I would say generally to look out for in terms of this week for like buy low, I say the Panthers defense. They're going to play
The
against
Panthers
Arizona, and
defense.
Arizona's been known to get themselves into big holes.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the way how their defense has looked so far this year. In terms of the Panthers, I think they're a very respectable defense.
I mean, that's basically what's kept them in to the games they've been in so far. Even though
Yeah,
they just got their first victory, they've been in every game.
yeah. And if not next week, I was going to say the Bears.
Oh,
They play
oh,
against the Giants, and the Bears defense has been solid throughout these 3 games so far.
but have they played anybody good
They play the 49ers, the
in the
Packers,
ring
and the Texans.
in the Texans? The Packers, eh. We'll
I
see
mean, they
how they're
got
off.
3 sacks and a fumble recovery, and then yesterday they got 2 interceptions, one being a pick six and 1 sack.
They got a pick six and only finished with 5 points.
Yeah, because I think the Texans scored 20 points.
Jeez, jeez. I'm thinking pick six. I'm getting at least seven. At least seven. Come on, that's literally what I want when I'm looking for a defense: a pick six or a fumble recovery taken for a touchdown, and then you're golden. You don't even have to check what they do for the rest of the game. But 5 points after the pick six—that's tough.
Or after yesterday, if anyone's interested, maybe going after the Chiefs. They're going to be playing against the Buccaneers on Sunday night, and if it's only Mike Evans out there,
Oh, another sneaky good one, depending on how the injury report shakes out, is the Bengals defense going up against the Dolphins because they might be facing Teddy, being that
that's right. Depending on how
it's
the
only Thursday.
investigation goes.
Yeah, well, forget the investigation. See how his health is. See if he's
Yep,
healthy. It's a quick week to turn around. They play on Thursday.
that's a sneaky one to definitely look out for. Man, so now it's even kind of damn, huh?
Yes.
That is something to look out.
Yeah,
Huh.
that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Because
All
I
right.
think McDaniel came out with a quote like an hour ago saying that it's still too early to tell.
Yeah, I did like the quote that you sent me of Tyreek Hill
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
Eli
Eli
Apple.
Apple, I got something for you, boy. I got something for you.
Oh my god! Anyone who listened to us before we got on E2G Sports, you know how we feel about Eli Apple.
Yeah, yeah. Eli Apple.
The man is trash.
I can't believe he went on that run. That's part of what made the Bengals run so unbelievable. It's like,
Yeah.
how is he not?
And
How? Uh,
the confidence he had when trash talking everyone.
and especially Tyreek Hill. Like, who do you think you are, brother? You're not him. You're
He talked
not him.
about like the Saints, and I was like, bro, the Saints are actually good. They actually got a lot better without you.
Oh, the only team that you can say got worse is the Giants, but the Saints were one of the roster wise were stacked for years,
Yeah,
and they thought they were adding another good corner.
they got
By
rid of
drafting
you
it. No,
because of Gardner Johnson,
yeah.
and Gardner Johnson's a stud.
Gardner Johnson's a stud who got traded for and signed an extension with the team that traded for him. So what does that say about you, fam?
Exactly.
You were
And
on
then
like
how he
a
got cooked
better
in the
minimum.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I really do hope Tyreek gets the opportunity just to absolutely cook that man. But we'll see. We'll see. He's going to need his quarterback back there for him to be able to cook him.
He's gonna need his guy. He's gonna need him, man. But that's also that's even gonna lead me to some questions since you got Tyreek Hill, and obviously there's always Thursday night games. But how are you feeling about the league overall?
About the fantasy league?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty competitive. There was what I think it was. I was undefeated. There was a team that didn't have a victory yet, and everybody else was 1-1. So I mean, that's pretty good parity.
Oh well. Let me see. Who's the team that doesn't have a victory yet? I think it's Moises by any chance.
Damn, I wasn't gonna put him on blast like that, bro. Just out here
Oh my
putting him
gosh, yeah,
on
it
blast
is.
for the victory
Let me see.
on the league, bro.
What's
You
his
wouldn't
name?
even mention his name last week for the trade. Were you gonna put him on blast for the 0-2,
Bro,
bro?
I didn't even see his score this week. Oh my god.
Damn, damn, just
Bro,
throwing
his
people under the bus.
I would say last week was just bad luck. He had 156 points. It's just Alex scored 204.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's just bad luck.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Damn. Oh well, so wait, then since you want to talk about that trade, all right. I'm gonna even like just. Do you think a trade is worth if I give him Mark Andrews?
I mean, it just depends on who you get back.
I mean, so far the talk is I might get
AJ
AJ
Brown.
Brown.
I mean, yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
The only thing is
AJ
just
Brown.
I don't know what I have at tight end after.
What about this Conklin?
I mean, he's there, but I would like someone who I know is going to get the ball consistently because I don't
I
know.
mean, 7, 9, 8 targets.
But that's with Flacco. What's going to happen when it's Wilson
I feel that. I do feel that. When is he supposed to come back?
after next week?
Damn.
So I'm not
Against
going
the
to get like
Dolphins? Oh,
1 week
good
of
luck. Oh my God, good luck. I would
one.
keep him out for that one.
So I
Oh
mean,
my
there's
God.
that. If not, I mean, if Miles wants to trade me one of his tight ends, I'll be all for it.
I mean, I just like my tight ends.
That's the
And I'm
problem. You have two good ones.
Yeah, I got two good ones. I got two good ones. I mean, the only thing I kind of need is a wide receiver. Like, not even kind of. I definitely need a wide receiver
Dang.
if that's going to happen. Because then
All
I could
right.
just keep that at my flex, and then it doesn't matter what my tight end position is.
Okay. So then I got Ayuk, Thielen, and Evans available. I got those three.
Damn, I didn't even see that Lockett got me 16, though. I don't even know if I need a receiver. I had Lockett and Cooper, bro.
He's got
I'm
Geno
pretty stacked
Smith.
in this league.
He has Geno Smith at quarterback. Let that
I
sink
don't
in.
care. 9 receptions. I'll take that.
My boy has Mike Evans, the GOAT.
Yeah, but you can't play.
He's going to play this week.
Amari had Jacoby Brissett and put up 23.
You want to get rid of Amari. Let
Yeah,
that sink in.
Amari is my trade piece.
You've
But
been wanting to get rid of
who has
Amari.
Kelsey in this league?
Dom.
If he wants to trade me Kelsey, then I'll trade a tight end.
Oh my God, he's not going to do that.
Okay, so I'm telling you, I gotta have a solid tight end.
That's the thing.
I can't just be left with one, unless it's Kelsey. Then I'll be left with one, and I'll just stream whatever week he has his bot. But I can't just be left with one tight end.
Oh my
I refuse
gosh.
to do it. I told you, I hate looking for bargain tight ends. I hate looking the waiver wire for tight ends because then you end up like, damn, do I really claim Tyler Conklin? Do I give up
Exactly.
my waiver order for Tyler Conklin? Like, is that really what my life's becoming?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And now I know, now I genuinely feel that now because once you told me at the beginning, then I like, it took realization to me. I was like, oh my gosh, bro, I need a tight end. If I don't have a tight end, I'm screwed.
Yeah, yeah. I told you, bro. Tight end is the stash and forget. Stash and forget. That's why you got to have a sleeper guy. That's why Goddard was my sleeper guy.
Well, Goddard was on a lot of people's list. It's just you took him before we all like generally were gonna take him.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
The
We
only
trying to
thing I
win
was like,
out here.
oh man,
We
I was
trying to
gonna
win
get.
leagues out here.
I said I was like, oh man, I'm about to get Goddard right now. I'm good, but then I found out Alex was gonna draft him. If you didn't draft him, and then Moises was gonna draft him. If I didn't draft him, I was like, man, that was like, if you hit it like at the very last moment, like you waited the last time to buy, you got it. So, dang, I gotta see. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I could talk to Peter, see if I could get maybe Zach Ertz or Dawson Knox off of him.
Yeah, it just depends on how it goes.
I mean, maybe I could trade him Evans and something, but I don't think he needs a receiver because he has Debo, Cooks, Terry, then the rest of the running backs. But Cooks gave him a dud.
Yeah, yeah. Cook's going what? 4 points?
Yeah, 4 points.
Yeah.
Oh man. The only thing is just is this fantasy league. It's competitive, like you said. It's competitive, but I will admit I'm even scared of tonight, bro.
I got in one of my leagues. I can't have Zeke get 16 points. I'm up by 16 points. I need anything under 16 for Zeke. He's a good game, solid game. Just can't get over 16, and I can stay
For
undefeated in that league.
for me, I have the Cowboys defense tonight,
Oh, I mean,
and
it is Daniel Jones. You should get at least a fumble or a interception.
but the opponent that I'm playing against this week, JP, he has Saquon.
Oh, yeah. Saquon's been snapping too. But the only thing is that Cowboys defense has looked nice. And you should get some sacks. You should
Yeah,
definitely
no,
get some sacks.
that's what I'm thinking. But I also know, like, I'm looking at the score. I'm up. The score is 143 to 104, and I'm like, okay,
I mean, you should be vibing, bro.
I should be fine. But I've also seen anomaly games where running backs have like just gone off.
Yeah, but how much do you even think he's gonna get? How much is even possible for him to get?
I don't know, bro. It's Saquon,
Yeah, but how much did he even get week one?
like 34, I think.
And you would still be winning.
But barely. But so I'm hoping for that one. I'm hoping for it. That one would be, if I could get that, I'll be 2-1, and I'll be tied with Myles for the division lead.
Yep. Up 2-1 after I lost this week. 49ers defense. That's what it came down to.
Man,
49ers defense lost by 4 points. What it really came down to was having Robinson on my bench for yet another game. And he puts just a 20 spot just chilling on the bench.
uh, man. Bro, that's what's crazy. I mean, like I told you kind of before we're recording, at this point, you might as well just put in the group chat, hey, if anyone wants James Robinson, just give me
Yeah,
this and
sell
we'll
him
do
high.
it.
Yeah, just sell him high at this point. But I don't know because now Connor's starting to suss me out.
Yeah,
He was
well,
questionable going into the week and only finished with 39 rushing yards.
I would say mainly the whole like Cardinals offense is kind of sus, personally.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like a
outside of
weird
that
vibe.
win against the Raiders, they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, and that was only the second half that they did anything. It
Yeah.
wasn't even like they were doing anything. And same thing with Hollywood. I mean, most of that was garbage time. I mean, they weren't. It wasn't technically garbage time because they weren't getting like blown out. But I never thought they really had a chance in that game either. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like it was anything crazy. And it's just I can't stand Cliff. I can't stand Cliff. I just don't get it. I don't
I
get
mean,
how.
do you have another bet on him to be the first coach fired?
No, my book hasn't offered it yet, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting. As soon as I see it, I even DM them, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll have it available later in the season." I'm waiting because I think it might be Frank Reich might be the favorite right now, and I'm like, "Oh my god, if I can get plus
Not
money."
Matt Rule?
Uh, I think Rule like there's just no reason to fire him. Like just fire him at the end of the season. At least with Reich, like it's like, dude, you've picked all these quarterbacks and we suck, or you handpicked all these quarterbacks.
It's not the best option.
And the thing with Cliff that just doesn't make sense is that he's supposed to be the offensive guy. Their offense, they always have like 10 points, 13 points. And then one week they'll randomly snap and it's like, oh, Cliff and Kyler. And the thing with Cliff is that the man went under 500 in the Big 12 with Patrick Mahomes. Like, you can't tell me that, that an NFL
Well, the
coach.
Pac-12, they just don't play defense. No
No,
team.
it's the Big 12.
Oh yeah, the Big 12.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they still put up 100 points on each other every game, but when you have Patrick Mahomes, you should be able to put up 100 points first and easier.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's college football. You don't know what's happening.
And then he gets the first pick in the NFL draft. That's his reward for having Patrick Mahomes in college. Is having Kyler Murray.
That's right.
Yep, first pick in the NFL draft. Congratulations, Cliff Kingsbury.
Well, we'll talk about Miles' hatred for Cliff at a later date and time. But guys, we are going to end the podcast. We'll be back to you on Friday. We're going to give a little review of the Dolphins-Bengals game that's going to be happening this Thursday. We're going to give you some bets that we like going into the weekend. And we're even going to let you guys know about maybe some fantasy guys that you might have as late sleepers, depending on the injury report of what we see throughout the week. So we hope you guys have a good rest of your week. We will see you guys on Friday.
Peace.